Like,
the only thing I really like about the story is that it pierces the idea that the Patriots just know everything, because there's no way they make that deal if they know that's out there.
And it couldn't have happened to a better team than it happened to the
No
Patriots.
kidding.
And
It's a perfect marriage of player and team. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I'm still suspicious. Like, things will probably just somehow smooth over, and there he is back playing and lighting it up like Moss did for them. So, You know what your guy always says. It's a crazy league.
That's a Sid Hartman quote. Yeah. Because anytime something happens, Sid goes, it's a crazy league.
But he knew it all along, right?
Yeah, it's crazy league, except he already knew what was going to happen. Yes,
exactly.
So thanks again to Tim.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming by. Again, if you can hang out, I'll buy you a beer. If not, we'll do this again, or we'll catch you for a lunch one of these days or whatever. So thank you, Tim. Thanks for coming by. Let me take care of a little business.
Hey, I made $12.18 today on my stocks. Just telling you. So that's 1.2% gain today, and you people are laughing at me. Huh? No, it definitely doesn't.
I can't wait to see the watch you buy with that.
I walked into the Starbucks at the Hy-Vee in Oakdale today, and because I was picking up a couple friends some caramel macchiatos, which that's when you want to do the redemption, because those are expensive drinks as opposed to the Americanos that I drink. And so I'm like, y'all get 2 caramel macchiatos and a venti Americano, and they're like, all right, that'll come to like $15. And I'm like, well, I'll do 2 redemptions. And they're like, oh, we don't take redemptions, sir. I'm just like, mother. Like, I came to you specifically just to get, like, I would have offered them their caramel macchiatos if I didn't know I could get it for free. Jim. I'm sorry.
You have to sell the watch, aren't you?
Yeah. Anybody have some live questions?
Hold on. I got to take care of a little business. I want to thank Tony Hoagland, your State Farm agent. Tony works out of Champlin. Tony actually handles Michael's insurance. He handles my insurance. He handles my home, my auto, everything. He also offers financial services. And now he is giving $10 donations to the Zucker Fund. Nice. For anybody who lets him give you a quote, an insurance quote, and gives them a shot to earn your business. And it's no obligation. You don't have to buy anything, but they just want to have a conversation. If you do that, they'll make a $10 donation to the Zucker Foundation. And again, it's not based on you purchasing. They just want to have a conversation with you. And it's one per household. So,
does that include Brandon?
Yes, absolutely. Brandon is uninsurable. But that would be the best thing, though. If Tony would insure you.
That would be...
I mean, think of the markets that would open for him.
I feel like if Tony insured Brandon, that our State Farm prices would just go through the roof.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
So let's not have Tony insure Brandon, but he'd love to insure you. So check out Tony Hoagland. It's Hoaglund.
Hi, Talk North listeners. I wanted to let you all know about State Farm's new program called Quotes for Good. We partner with local nonprofits to raise money for great causes. For the Russo-Souhan show, I'll be donating $16 to the Jason and Carly Zucker Give 16 campaign that benefits the University of Minnesota Masonic Children's Hospital. When you call in, be sure to mention the show so that we can track the donations. You can reach us at 763-421-4900 or check out our website at champlininsurance.com.
All right. Fire away.
I've been doing.
That was a Russo Slacks.
I know. I just can't wait to hear
for
this
you.
one.
I've been doing some analytics on the Wild.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have a resume. I'm hoping you can pass it along tomorrow.
Yeah.
But overtime. How long's the overtime? 3-on-3 been in the league?
Probably since the last 3 years.
4 years.
4 years. Yeah. Yeah. Wild are last. I know.
The Wild are 12-28 in 3-on-3.
Yeah. Wow, you really have been doing analytics. Okay.
Is there any chance this year that the coach will be the one that puts the 3-on-3 players out on the ice?
Well, I will say this, like Bruce has just got to stand up and be that guy. I mean, he's the one that last year made that one decision that ended in with like seconds of Koivu Suter and somebody on the ice. And the one thing to add to your 12-28. At a boredom one day, I'm gonna put it together. I did this like 2 years ago, and it was unbelievable the amount of times that Koivu, Zucker, and Suter were on the ice for 3-on-3 goals against. It's by far tops on the team. And so to me, those are the times where you just got to say, you know what, Mikko, Ryan, this is not your time. He's got to be the one to do it. So I agree. And to me, that is on Bruce. He can't blame that on anybody else dictating him. He's the one that, or at a minimum, don't put them on the ice together. Don't start them. It's got to be. To me, it's like every time, if you're going to start with two defensemen, which sometimes I get why you're going to do that, it's got to be Brodin and Spurgeon, or Brodin and Dumba, or the two of them together, Dumba and Spurgeon. It's just, to me, that's got to be that way. So,
do you think it'll be different this year with Bruce in the last year of his contract? Do you think he'll take more control and decide what's going on?
Like a great example is when the Wild were in Nashville at the beginning of March, and they were in 4-on-4 in overtime, and Parisi was on the bench and Pontus Aberg was on the ice, that's where you've got to say, all right, I'm picking the power play personnel now, not you, Dean, or whoever. I think that he is, he's going to be in survival mode a lot this year, and that's another reason why, to me, I would just give him a 1-year extension, because I don't want a coach that's always thinking about that.
Right.
Here's a good example. And I know people are probably tired of hearing this, but I'm watching the captain's practice the other day, and Joel Eriksson Ek looks freaking unbelievable.
So tired of hearing that.
I know that. I mean, like he looks unreal. Like he's in absolutely the best shape on the team. And he looks like he's going to be pushing people this year. And there just comes a point, it's like you've got to play him. But from your Bruce's perspective, are you going to be willing to have the patience to play him a lot? When you've got guys like Stahl, Koivu, and some of these centers ahead of them, like if we see Ryan Donato or Jordan Greenway at second-line center come Friday at practice, one question is, well, why not Eriksson Ek? So
I was scrolling
did Philip
through...
write you that was Vicky out of town, or no?
No. This is so I was scrolling through Facebook one day and I came across a hockey feed article. It was the ugly, shocking details of Fenton's firing in Minnesota. And essentially, it's an article that just takes your article from The Athletic and then puts like 2 sentences between excerpts from your article.
Yeah.
I'm curious how that works.
It shouldn't happen.
It seems wrong.
It is wrong.
What do they call that? Aggregation? And today, is that
they call it aggregation.
Yeah.
It's a way of mass media, and
Yeah.
and I don't want to rip any of it specifically, but like Bring Me the News is an entire website that just takes information from other people and repackages it. It's like
somebody sent me something like that recently. That was like a kid that was doing it. Like that was just a Wild fan, like probably 14, 15-year-old kid that just wants to be a blogger. Which just reminds me, this other kid that's like 14 or 15 wanted me to read his Wild blog the other day, and I forgot to do it. So if you're listening, Carter in New York, I will get to that.
Carter, he's big time in it.
But there was somebody that did that the other day that was just like a high school kid at one of the local high schools that was doing it, and that one, I mean, I couldn't care less. But the ones that are bothersome are the ones where it's like major websites that do it, and especially at a subscription website like ours. But you know what I mean? Like that's the other. Like I always laugh when people are like, I'm gonna read the Star Tribune because I don't want to subscribe to The Athletic, and I'm just like, well, I tried to get on the Star Tribune on my site on my phone today, and it's like you need to subscribe.
Right.
Like the Star Tribune.
We're a pay site.
Yes, I mean it's the same thing. It's only a little different. And so that one, that type of stuff that bothers me. The ones that really bother me are the Facebook Wild, and I've gotten into it with some of them. And I appreciate there are Wild fans that will actually send this to me and say, hey, there's this closed Facebook club, or whatever would be the lack of a better term probably, that a bunch of Wild fans are part of, and what they do is they essentially take your story and copy and paste the whole thing on there for people that aren't subscribers to read. And
that's
that
theft.
stuff,
It's
yeah,
theft.
yeah, I mean that's like going into Holiday over there and just walking out with a bunch of candy. I mean it's the same thing.
It's like going to a Louis Vuitton show, walking out with a watch and not paying for it, which, well, we're not going to talk about that.
I kind of wish I did that, actually. So yeah, I mean, but that's the world we live in now. It's kind of like, to me, in a lot of ways, it's like back in the days when Napster was around and all these bands, like the guy from Metallica was boycotting all the like now. There's a reason why all these bands tour so much, because it's the only way they can make money. Mm-hmm. You just gotta accept that it's the new world, that I'm going to pay probably $9.99 a month for Spotify, and that's how I'm getting their music. And I don't know how all the economics work, where the bands get paid
bands don't
pennies
get paid.
on that.
That's how it works.
But sort of the way that we have it. I mean, it's the same thing at the Athletic. Like, it's just we know that if Andy's buying a subscription, that he's probably giving it to his 3 kids. I mean, that's just kind of the way it works. You really should buy 4 subscriptions, though, Andy. But that's just sort of the way it works. You just sort of accept it, and so in that hockey feed or whatever, it's just kind of the way it works. But the ones that bother me are like when you go to I don't want to say any sites, but same thing. I saw my I don't know if it was Fiala or something, or my Spurgeon story the other day on a major website. Same exact thing. It had the hyperlink of my article, but it was all my quotes in there, and it just, to me, that's bothersome.
Well, yeah, at the end of it, it says you should read Russo's article on the Athletic. I'm like, well, yeah, you should have just linked it at the beginning and not do anything else.
Yeah. So
good question.
That's the word. Thanks for asking.
Thanks for bringing it up. Let's do some. We'll take more live questions. We'll also do some Twitter questions here. We're doing a thank Bite Squad. Remember, the promo code is TalkNorth. You'll get your first delivery fee waived. Just keep using Bite Squad because they've been great to us. Obviously, we favor Tin Shed if you're in the neighborhood, or if you can either come to Tin Shed or order directly from Tin Shed. But if you're not, or if you just happen to want something different on that night, use Bite Squad. Pretty much anything you want, anytime you want, they'll deliver to you. Let me squeeze in one Twitter question. Jay Ewan asked, it's a little outdated, but we all know about all the mismanagement of Paul Fenton. Were there any? What were some of his successes?
And
we'll move on now.
Well, Brett Hunt. Look, I mean, we got to see down the line. I mean, if Fiala and Donato turn into great players, those are going to be successes. I mean, with trades, I'm always, you don't know right away. Same thing with draft picks. You don't know right away. Let me come back to me.
We'll ask again in 4 years.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So that's Zach. He's going to Mizzou next year.
Awesome.
You guys need to talk.
Yeah.
I was telling Zach at the State Fair that he needs to talk to you and Rachel because you guys are proud Mizzou alum.
Awesome. So. Congratulations.
Thank you. I just have a question. I just want to bring it back to Stafford because I know he's a Minnesotan himself, and he's been bouncing around from Boston and New Jersey. With his tryouts that he's been having, do you think he'll be a solid fit from being a Minnesotan and being because I know a lot of other people on the Wild are from Minnesota. Do you think that Minnesota connection could possibly bring a good, charisma to the team? And if he does get a position on this team, do you think he'll stay here and instead of bouncing around like he's been doing these past couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing. It's like I got to see him up close. Like I could tell you in these captains' practices, he looks really good. But I will say in these captains' practices, a lot of guys look good. I mean, it's just one of those, like I'm watching Dumba yesterday, and honestly, I'm like, holy crap, this guy could score 50 goals this year. I mean, he is that freaking dynamic when you watch him in these things. It's crazy. But he might be the only guy that actually is showing you something in these captains' practices. So Stafford looks good right now, but when the pace of play, actually, I will say this, and I shouldn't, but the one person that's not seemingly elevating right now, that everybody's getting faster and he doesn't seem to be, but it might be because he's pacing himself, is Mikko. I was watching him in the captain's practice the other day, but I think he was just trying to be a little hesitant because they were doing the tight space game where it's you could get yourself hurt pretty easily, and I think that he was just hesitant in that area. But in terms of Stafford, he looks good now. I wrote about him today. I think that it's going to be hard for him to make the team unless there's injuries, just based on the fact that they have 12 guys right now. I mean, I've got to think that Luke Cunnin, Greenway, and Donato, the 3 guys on the roster up front that can be sent to the minors without waivers, are going to make the team. So the question is he good enough where he's the 13th forward or the 14th forward if Rask is here? Because JT is obviously going to probably not make the team. And Nico, I think, should be down in Iowa unless he's absolutely unbelievable in camp. And the other guy is Jerry Mayhew, who's easy to send down because he needs waivers, even though he doesn't need waivers, even though I think that he really deserves a roster spot. Like, he was so good in Iowa down the stretch this year. So the question is, are you going to keep 14 forwards and have the 14th be Stafford? Will Stafford accept a two-way deal, and then you put him on waivers, and maybe is he going to be willing to sign down there? I mean, those are the type of things that I think they've got to figure out. So I think we just got to see him in camp. He's going to play in a lot of these exhibition games. I hate to say it like this, too, because I like Drew. But a lot of times, remember, there's a mandatory amount of veterans that have to play in an